Hey parents, Austin here. If you want to know what's going on with City Kids, check out this awesome conversation I had with Pastor Luther.
So this is Austin. He leads our children, and so I've asked him to share with you all a little bit about what our children's ministry aims to do, our philosophy, why we exist, and what's going on, because some of you, you attend City Church, but you're not aware of what he's about to share, and you need to be aware, because some of these things are amazing. Some of you are brand new, and you need to hear, okay, this is what they're all about. This is what they aim to do and how they aim to fulfill, this idea of passing on the faith. So Austin, if you will, share with us a little bit about our City Kids, our approach, and our philosophy here at our church.
Yeah, absolutely. The really funny thing about this is this is about to come full circle. In a couple months, my wife and I are expecting our first. So this is just going to be coming right back around. And somebody's going to have to teach me how to do this. One thing that we aim to do is we aim to partner with parents to influence the faith of kids and the next generation. And that idea comes from this reality is no one has more potential to influence the faith of a child than parents or guardians, because no one spends more time with their child in everyday moments of life than parents or their guardians. On average, every year the parent has 3,000 non-sleeping, non-school hours to impart faith to their kids, to talk about faith with their kids. And the church has about 40. Now, if that kid goes to camp, it triples, which is cool. But either way, the 40 is never going to match the 3,000. So the question for us becomes, how do we strategize and position and maximize our 40 hours of influence with a kid to help parents win and make the most of the 3,000? And that is to combine them. Rather than do anything else, we combine them. And another way of saying that is that two combined influences have greater impact than just two influences. So if the church, which as a church, we want kids to grow up to know that they are made in the image of God, to know Him personally, to make Him known. And as parents, you want your kids to grow up knowing who God is. We want the same thing. So if we combine our efforts, combine our influence, and go the same direction, that's going to have a greater impact rather than the church just doing something over here and the parents doing something over here, and we may or may not be going the same direction or doing the same thing at the same time. So we very much want, as a church, to be a contributor to a parent's influence rather than a competitor. 40 will never outweigh 3,000. No matter how great the 40 is, and we do our best to make it the best it can possibly be. But that 40 will never outweigh 3,000. And the moment, and we shouldn't try to make it outweigh 3,000 hours. We shouldn't try to do that. And the moment that we do try to elevate the importance of the 40 hours to more important than 3,000 is the moment that we stop seeing the family the way that God does.
So what you're saying then is that it's about synergy. It's about synergizing the influence of the church and the family together, which means that at City Church, children's ministry is as much about equipping and resourcing parents as it is just ministering to the kids themselves. Second thing, and I mentioned this briefly, but this is something that Austin often talks about when he talks about a Sunday version of faith. What's the Sunday version of faith, and why do we want to avoid it?
Sunday version of faith is always unintentional. Because if we lined it up and let's say we had a menu out there and we had a description of what it is, no one would choose it. But in the world that we live in, how busy we are, and the culture that's always has something else competing for our number one affection, our number one attention, we accidentally model a Sunday version of faith for our kids. And it's because we tend to view Sunday as the last day of the week before, Monday starts. And here's another round. All right, we view Sunday as faith day. We designate Sunday as, Sunday is the day that we go to church. Sunday is the day that we worship. Sunday is the day that God is present in our life. And actually, as you said earlier, but Sunday is actually at the beginning of the week. It's positioned at the beginning of the week to be the start of something and not the end of something. All right, and I think that's what you see with this series, something to talk about. As we leave church, as we head back into to real life, what happens here is not the end of the week, but it's actually the beginning of conversations to have at home, to have with our groups, to have with our families. And that's exactly what we want our kids' experience to be on a Sunday. We want our kids' experience, it's not just, a 1-hour worship experience designed for kids. It is that, but it's the beginning of something and not the end. Now,
we provide and try to provide all kinds of resources for parents to help them realize an everyday version of faith, not just a Sunday version of faith. So these are some resources that I know a lot of our parents, I've had conversations after all of our services today of parents going, wow, I did not know this. This is amazing. Parents and grandparents too, if you aren't aware of what City Kids offers, you need to get locked in with this because this is a difference maker. So tell us about some of the resources that are available for parents to help them impart their faith to their children and build their homes on the Lord.
If the church doesn't resource parents and kids throughout the week, then we're not a very good teammate. We're not a very good partner. And if we don't help parents and kids, win and make the most of those, faith-shaping moments that happen in the context of real life, then we're not a very good teammate. And in doing so, if we don't resource them, and give the kids and parents the resources they need, we as a church, incidentally, model a Sunday version of faith without even knowing it. And so for our pre-K, on our church website every week and at the kids check-in right over here, you'll be able to go to the website in the 6 weeks to pre-K. And when you click on it, it'll scroll to the bottom, and you'll see something called God Time. And there it is, right there. And this right here will help you as a parent connect with what's happening across that wall right there, with what happens on Sunday. There's things like morning time, like things to say in the morning, questions to ask, scriptures to read, the memory verse for the main idea that your kids are learning on Sunday, to help you connect that with what's happening in real life during the week. And then there's these little guys. These may be one of my favorite things ever. This is a placemat. This is a placemat designed. They're new every month with whatever the kids are talking about. And it goes on the table. It goes where your family's going to share meals together. If you pick one up from over there, it's going to be laminated, so kids can draw on it and wipe it off and reuse it. If you print them at home, just print one for every week of the month. But it contains with what the kids learned over there on Sunday. So as you sit down for a meal, the parents have a reminder. Kids have something to play on, but you can have really fun conversations in those everyday moments.
Okay, let me jump in real quick. So parents or pre-Kers, you understand that what happens on Sunday is now available to you on Monday for the entire week. There's God times every single day to follow up. Leading your child isn't something where you have to invent the wheel. This is you've got partners. That's what the role of the church is. So that's what we mean of resourcing you, so that you've got a placemat, you've got these God times already set up that you can lead through. So, and that's available on Monday or Sunday night.
You can pick them up there or download them on the website.
All right, super.
And then for our K5, same page. Just go over there, go K5. You'll scroll to the bottom, and what you'll see is they're kind of a little bit different, because as kids grow up, they go through different phases. The way they think, the way they process will change. So their God times are going to change. So they're going to be divided up into kindergarten and first grade, second and third grade, and then fourth and fifth grade. And you just click on whatever grade your child is in. And that devotional connects what happens on Sunday in worship to their everyday life on their level. We are always on our phones, on our iPads, and there's a really cool app called the Parent Q app. And that updates every single week with what happens on Sunday to give you little cues and things to talk about, things to do throughout the week as well. So all you'll do is you'll download it, you'll enter your child's birthday, and it will actually track them along. And it will, as they grow up and as their content on Sunday changes, it will change with them and go along. So that way you don't ever have to worry about if they match or not. It'd be right there on your phone. Some of the same things that are online will be on your phone. as well.
And there's also articles and resources for parenting as well.
So it'll take you to articles, podcasts, some blog, and a really cool bookstore that's just for parents. It's definitely worth exploring. And then the last thing, as your kid grows up, they're going to go through a lot of different phases, and the way that you impart faith to them at one phase will be very different for how you will need to impart faith at another phase, because they're going to be completely different. They still have the same name. They may still like some of the same things, but the way they're thinking and processing and understanding is going to be completely different. So at our kids check-in over here or at the main campus, you'll see right here, it's a little phase guide, little phase summary, and it'll open up, and it's just a little bit about what phase your child is currently going through, how they're thinking, how they're processing. So you can use some of that to kind of help and guide you.
Awesome. Isn't that amazing? I mean, right there on your phone, on your tablet, ready to go. Again, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Let the church partner with you. So this is what these resources are for.